the dragon now is released, we are seeing them very easily because they are not so hidden as they were. We can see very clearly who belongs to the tree of knowledge of good and deficient. They always set conflicts between black and white, this race or that other race, this party, that party, the right, the left. They are always fighting, organizing conditions of conflict, divide and conquer. That's the strategy of the enemy. We can even see that in this strange phenomenon, which is now rampant in Europe and the US. It seems immigration from third world countries, but I don't think it's immigration, because those people who obviously are suffering in their countries, they live in very difficult circumstances, are brought here by plane, by boats, and it's not just any company. No, there are companies hired by the European Union and some world government that is making business with that. So it's not immigration, it's slave trafficking. On one hand, they want to generate conflict in society because many of those people are just victims. Some of them are savages. We see them here with knives and guns, and they cause havoc in some areas. They rape, they kill, they steal, because they are not given any job or any outlet. They are just left on the streets. That is not normal. I think it's done on purpose. And those who want to cause chaos also want to bring hate from people. They want to cause a state of civil war, because divide and conquer. They want to exert measures of control, just as they released some sort of thing causing a supposedly accidental pandemic, which was more a pandemia. Some of us knew that was going to happen. I already knew about the bug in 2015 because there were whistleblowers that said they heard in hidden political circles that they were going to release a sort of flu for the people. No? Well, just a measure of control, as were the fake shots, no? Because they contain many things that were synthetic and they are causing deaths all over the world. Even the experimental medicines used caused a massive amount of deaths that were disguised. Now, this is something ignored by most part of the population, which have been deceived by the powers that be. Powers that belong to another race, another lineage. They are fallen kings, those who are behind, and fallen princes. Actually, there is a fascinating story in Genesis 36. It says that before there was a king for Israel, Israel is a code, by the way, is not a member of the state of Israel or someone born within a Jewish family. No, Israel are those who conquer the planetary and negative radiations of this world. But the fallen kings that came before served their own king, which is the adversary of Israel. Adamic souls are hated by the fallen kings. Now, these fallen kings did not have wives, or they were not mentioned with wives. This is one of the codes in that story in Genesis 36. Now, these 7 kings died. None of them survived. And there were not immortal wives with them. And they are not mentioned with wives, something which is important because the 8th king survived is still alive. It's called Hadar, beauty. And he has a wife. Now this is a code, very profound. The 7 kings were lineages from the primordial worlds that lost their bodies. They had many different types of bodies. They inhabited different species. They were draconian, amphibious, insectoid. Many people have seen them. They think they are extraterrestrials, but it's not extraterrestrials in the way people think. And they lost their bodies, and they are like suspending in the collective waters of the unconscious, ruling from those thrones, trying to conquer humanity. This is the influence that deceived Adam in the Garden of Eden. Adamic species were born from Adama, from the astral land, and they received the divine consciousness, but they also had access to the fallen genetics, because the purpose was to rectify, to purify that fallen genetics, the tree of knowledge. This is why there were 2 trees in the garden, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Knowledge that is dual. Some things look good, but turn out to be deficient. In the tree of life, there is wholeness. There is a middle column, neither right nor left. It's center. You are not a sinner, and you will not become perfect. You are perfect in the tree of life, because the essence cannot be imperfect. And this is the realization that makes us eat from fullness, from truth. Then we become part of the true divine body, and we can be connected to the head, the universal head, which brought a new program, a new DNA, which is now the manifestation of new Adam, a new type of human, which combines this earthly body with the divine. So we are no longer regarded as fertilizer. There was a teacher, Mr. Gurdjieff, who said, in general, human beings are fertilizer because they descend from fallen angels. And he said, fallen angels were merde, shit, because they were silly and they made mistakes. And from those mistakes came this chaos. So that's why he said that modern humanity is merde de la merde, shit of the shit, or fertilizer. That's even told in ancient myths, that modern humans are the dust of the gods. But it belongs to the old paradigm. Once you are in the tree of lives, you should not regard yourself as fertilizer. You fertilize your own ground, but you are not merde de la merde. Even Gurdjieff spoke about connecting with the divine neuron, the divine brain, and he admitted that the divine master, Jesus Christos or Jesus Christ, Isho, as I call him in Aramaic, was a manifestation of that divine brain on earth. Now we have to follow the way of the master, and that way implies a shift in viewpoint. There cannot be a look back, obviously. So as long as we are working, falling, we are fertilizer, obviously, because we serve powers that belong to darkness, and they use our energy for their purposes, cosmically, but also in society, because the political agendas use human beings for their purposes. There is a large amount of slaves that work for those who are on the top of the pyramid. But those who enter the kingdom the kingdom of life have a crown of life. We don't serve the princes of this world. We serve the divine cosmos, the divine mission. We are the face of the divine on earth. And this is why we are different. We don't belong to the same lineage. We might have some genetics from the tree of knowledge. That's fertilizer. But we also came with a divine garden. And this divine garden is growing as we grow up and we manifest our true divine mission. Now here comes the amazing meaning of the parable in Matthew 17. To whom the kings of this earth charge taxes? To their sons or the sons of the rest of people? Well, Peter says that to the rest of people. And Master Isho told him to catch a fish that had a coin, 4 drachma coin, that would pay for Peter and for the master. Now I eventually realized that once we catch the big fish in us, and once we are fished by the master, then we perform a task which is invaluable. The greatest love is coming to this earth, releasing this message, and becoming fishermen and fisherwomen, fishers of Adamic fish that are lost in the unconscious of people, swimming in waters that are murky, that are full of sharks and crocodiles, because in some cases they even have that aspect. There are fallen entities who are very ugly. And this is not a theory. I saw with my eyes. And believe me, some people are not what they claim to be. They look like human, but they are not human. They are not even Adamic. Therefore, we have to set apart from those who claim to be humans. And we have to be in the world without belonging to the world, knowing that all the charges have been released. Once you make peace with yourself and you know your origin, there is no point in making mortifications to pay bad karma. That's for the fallen ones. We don't perform mortifications to pay for anything. We sacrifice, in any case, our selfishness with a particular type of vibration. And this vibration is the I of light, of true love, the true universal I. This is also a vibrational code. Actually, the word Jesus, which starts with I, by the way, was known since ancient times, because it's not just a common name. As I prove many times, it's the expression of the divine vibration. It's connected to the tetragrammaton, Yud He Vav He, which is the breath of life, that obviously can be separated, distorted. Even the adversaries have a tiny part of light, but it's broken, it's separated from the source. Just like Sophia was separated from her husband in the Gnostic myth, and she gave birth to Yaldabaoth, the fallen demiurge. That was a myth that was misused by the Gnostics, which misunderstood the tetragrammaton. They did not see the tetragrammaton is the divine verb, the divine vibration, which must be completed, expressed through our life, like a breath, through our mind, actions, feelings. And this is a vibration codified as Io, Io, Io in the Spanish is I. And that's why the Messiah was called Isho, Yeshua. Isho is the pronunciation in Aramaic Syriac, but there are traces of this in ancient Egypt. Gerald Massey, an Egyptologist, wrote a book called The Light of the World, and he explained how even the word Ihu or Iu was a reference to the solar sun. Let's say that the divine sun is born within humanity as Iu, but the Egyptians misunderstood the message, stole the message. Actually, we see what happened. No? They became a theocratic empire where the pharaoh was worshipped or followed like a lord, and even the priests washed his feet in a ritual, whereas the master, Ishu, washed the feet of his apostles, because he said, we didn't come here to be served, but to serve consciously. So he inverted the Egyptian message and brought the original message, which was stolen or misinterpreted by the Egyptians. Their Osiris and Horus was not the true Messiah. Osiris was a fallen king. That's why he went to the land of the dead, the unconscious, was partially resurrected through Horus, but Horus was forgotten and gave rise to fallen Prometeic civilizations. Because the true master must be beyond any pyramid. There is no pyramid in the Tree of Lives. There is an holarchy where the holons or individual expressions are an expression of the whole. There is no top of the pyramid, and therefore no lords. The myth of Osiris, Isis, and Horus is connected to the fallen messengers of Orion. Orion was a code for the fallen ones, the eye of the bull. Notice how in Mesopotamia, in ancient Greece, in Egypt, there was a time where the gods were represented with horns. The bull is Baal, the Lord. The fallen master is master of chaos or master of deception. And many of those fallen messengers, fallen lords, took the ideas of a universal master and they express it in their own way. That's why it was misunderstood. Many religions came out of it. The worship of Dagon, the fish god, the worship of the golden calf. The Israelites fell because they worshipped the golden calf in the desert. And the first tablets that were written by the finger of Elohim, nature, the message of the stars, were broken because they lost the connection. They got contaminated with the belt of Orion. I was speaking about this many times in the other channel. In case you know Spanish and want more information, can you receive the sweet influence of the Pleiades and unbind the belt of Orion? Said Job. That's in Job 38, if I'm not mistaken. The belt of Orion represents the slavery of religion, which is bound to many false gods, lords, even fish gods. I'm not saying all the fishmen were bad. As I say, some Adamic species belong to those fishmen, which were amphibious, but obviously need to be reintegrated. This is one of the messages I was receiving during the last 20 years. I have been working at least 30 years, but the understanding came bit by bit, and more unveilings come. And now this message is very important because we are living the end of a civilization. There is chaos, there is organized evil, and they play very well their role. But those who are connected to the Tree of Life have a mission. We are not alone. We have a crown. We did not come here to serve lords or to be slaves or to be fertilizer. We came here to show those who listen, who really deserve this, that we are pure life and pure flowers. We are immensely valuable in a world where the human being is devalued. Those who are in power want to enslave humanity, destroy humanity. This is why they want to depopulate the world by means of poisoning, by means of organizing wars, by means of generating conflict even within the families. Two seeds are mixed up, and now it's the time of the harvest. We are separating the sheep from the goat. This was told by the master. Very few catch the message, but it's obvious for those who have eyes. We admit that the adversary disguised himself very well, even in churches, Vatican's buildings, in Paul VI's building where the Pope organizes his meetings. Tell me, what do you see here? It's very obvious who is running the show. And those who have been enslaving humanity are now exposed, so there is no longer excuse to serve lords, to follow Dagon, fallen fish, and it's necessary to fish, to catch our fallen Adamic fish, to be reintegrated in a greater ocean. It doesn't matter that we made mistakes. Those mistakes are no longer taken into account as long as we take the coin, the 4 drachma coin, and pay this system what it deserves. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. We have to pay for things physically, spiritually, even economically. There is no escape from that. But we can receive anything we need economically, in terms of health, in terms of spirit, as long as we walk as the Master walked. This was the message, and it's time to wake up. There is no time to be just working on tiny details. No. This is the time. Are you ready or not? Because if you are ready, then this message will reach your heart. And I will continue in further occasions. If there is any question, just leave it in the comments. Remember, we must be connected to the divine head, the divine master, that on this earth was already expressed. There is no point in waiting for the second coming of the Messiah. He's not coming outside. The Messiah is a mess. The true master, the true Mashiach, brain of the cosmos, comes from within. That is the second coming. It comes or it does not come. This is and it comes or it does not come in your life. Don't wait for him outside. Make him be born. Allow him to be born in your life, so we can express everything he came to express. And I will leave an article in the blog when I finish it, summarizing this important message. And remember, there is a web, Vital ENArmonya, where you can find music courses, music therapy courses, and possibility of orientation as well. There is a blog, themusicofwisdom.blogspot.com, another channel, ENArmonya, Vital ENArmonya, a music channel, ENArmonya Music Clips. And I will continue unfolding this divine mission on earth. Find your divine mission, find out what you came here to do, so you can be filled with divine enthusiasm and express the love without limits, life without fragmentation, without slavery, integral conscience and consciousness, and deep, blissful serenity.